Hey Year 9, today what we're doing is we're looking at lines with one intercept. So our learning intention is to be able to use equations to graph vertical lines and horizontal lines, to know that every line of the form y equals mx passes through the origin, to be able to graph lines of the form y equal mx using the origin and one other point. You will feel successful if you can graph horizontal and vertical lines, and if you can sketch lines of the form y equals mx. So what we're going to do is you are going to start off by having a go at the first three questions. So for question 1, you want to state the coordinates of the x-intercept. Question 2, you want to state the coordinate of the y-intercept. And question 3, you want to find the value of y equals x equals 1 using these rules. So pause the video here. It'll take about 5 minutes and then come back and check your answers. Alright, so you should have had a go at these questions. So let's have a go at stating the coordinates of the x-intercept. For our first one, our line is x equals 2. So our x-intercept is at the line 2, 0. Our x-intercept is where our line crosses our x-axis, hence here. Our next one, our x-intercept of the line x equals negative 3 is at the coordinate negative 3, 0. And finally, our last one here, our x-intercept is at the origin, which is at the point 0, 0. Why has my pen stopped working? Sorry. Is at the point 0, 0. Okay, moving on to question 2, our y-intercept is at the point where our graph crosses our y-axis. So for the first line, y equals 3, our y-intercept is at the coordinate 0, 3. For our next one, our y-intercept for the line y equals negative 2 is at negative 2, so our coordinate is 0, negative 2. And our last one has a y-intercept occurring at the origin, so our y-intercept is at the point 0, 0. For question 3, we want to find the value of y if x equals 1 using these rules. That means we want to substitute in x equals 1 into all of these equations where we have an x. So for our first one, y equals 5x, we'll have y equals 5 lots of 1, so y is equal to 5. For our next one, y equals a third x, we have y equals a third lots of 1, so y equals a third. For C, we have y equals negative 4x, so we will have y equals negative 4 lots of 1, and y will equal negative 4. And for D, we have y equals negative 0.1x, so we'll have negative 0.1 lots of 1, which is just y equals negative 0.1. Okay, so lines with one intercept includes our vertical lines, it includes our horizontal lines, and it includes lines that pass through the origin. So let's have a look at the vertical line. The vertical line is in the form of x equals k. It is parallel to the y-axis, and our x-intercept is at k0. What this means is that for every y value that we have, the x value is k. For our horizontal lines, we have them in the form y equals c. This means that they are parallel to the x-axis, and our y-intercept is at 0c, meaning that for every x value, the y value is equal to c. For our lines through the origin, 0, 0, it is in the form of y equals mx. This means that our y-intercept is at 0, 0, and our x-intercept is at 0, 0. Looking at this array of graphs we have here, in order to find another point, what we do is we substitute x equals 1, or any other value for that fact, for x to find a second point, so that we have our point at our origin and our second point, making it easy to graph these lines. Okay, let's have a little look at our examples. So we want to sketch the graph of for A, y equals -1. Now this is where you need to make sure you're using a ruler, and what we are doing is we are drawing a straight line through the point y equals -1. We want to make sure we have arrows on both ends, and we include our label of our graph y equals -1. Please make sure that you are using a ruler to do this. For B, we want to sketch the graph of x equals 3. So what we want to do here is we want to draw a straight line going through x equals 3 for every y value using a ruler. We want to put our arrows at both ends, and we want to write the line x equals 3. We want to label our equation. Okay, moving on to C. Let us zoom out and back in. We have the line y equals -2x. So that means we're going to put our point at our origin, like so, and then we're going to sub in x equals 1. Now when we sub in x equals 1, we get y equals -2 lots of 1, so we get y equals -2, giving us our coordinate 0, -2. Murphy. Now this is our next coordinate that we're going to plot. So we're going to go across 1, down -2. And then what we're going to do from here is we are going to draw a straight line using our ruler through our points. So we have our nice point here of 1, -2, and then we have our arrows, and then we want to label our graph y equals -2x. Okay. Example 2, we want to find the equation of the straight line that is parallel to the y-axis and passes through the point 8, 7. So if it is parallel to the y-axis, it means it is in the form of x equals c. So this means that it is going to be a vertical line, and this c value is going to be our x coordinate of 8. So therefore we're going to have the equation x equals 8. Okay, for a line to be parallel to the y-axis, it passes through the point at 8, 7, meaning this means that it is a vertical line because our y-axis is also a vertical line. For example 3, we have the graphs of x equals -3 and y equals 5, and they intersect at a point. We want to find the coordinates of the point. So it's as simple as saying that our coordinates of the point is our x value of -3 and our y value of 5. Now we can look at this on Desmos, which is a graphing calculator or graphing tool. Just give me 2 seconds to get to it. Desmos. So if we graph these lines, I believe it is x equals -3 and also the graph of y equals 5, we see that their coordinates of where they join together is this coordinate here of -3, 5. Okay, going back to our last example. For our last example, we want to find the equation of the line that passes through the point 1, 2. Now we're going to assume that we're going to use that the line is in the form of y equals mx, and we're going to sub in our point 1, 2. This means that x will equal 1, y will equal 2. This will help us find our m value. Now, m stands for gradient, which we'll be looking at in more detail in next lesson. When we sub in y equaling 2, m, x equaling 1, we get that our m value equals 2. So we have that, therefore, our equation of the line is going to be y equals 2x. Hopefully this all made sense. What you will be doing is exercise 4C, the yellow questions here, And then if you finish those, or you're a person I've told has to do the enrichment questions, you'll be having a go at the enrichment questions from the textbook. Good luck.